Hello you guys, it is me Melanie, and today I'm going to be doing my January and February reading wrap-up. I didn't get to do one in January because I was a little bit too busy with heading back to school, so I'm just going to do the two together. And in general, when I try to do reading wrap-ups, I'm going to do like the last month's wrap-up and next month's TBR, but for this month I want to do something special with my TBR, so I'm going to make a separate video for that. And so yeah, this video is just going to be the wrap up for the past 2 months, and so in total I've read 10 books since the start of the year, so I'm just going to go through them in order and let you know what I thought. Alright, the first book I read this year, I have my little stack here, of course it's on the bottom, but the first book I read this year, which actually started at the very end of December, finished it early January, is The Summer of Broken Rules by Kelly L. Walther. I'm going to be referring to my Goodreads review a little bit because some of these, it's been like 2 months since I read it now. So I rated this one 4 stars. I said that I loved the setting and the romance in this book. It was super cute and the characters had great chemistry. I remember liking the beginning of this book a lot better than like the middle and end, because I really liked when they were like kind of just barely knew each other. I felt like their relationship progressed a little too fast for my liking. And it just kind of almost seemed desperate to me, like some of the things that they did. If you've read it, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it just seemed like she was kind of just like, screw it, I'm gonna do certain things that I wouldn't usually do, and it almost just like seemed out of her character, and I feel like kind of random, so I didn't love that. But the story itself, just like their romance was super cute. I loved the beginning, and it was pretty good. I actually wrote, Goodreads only has like full star ratings, but I actually rated it at 3.5 stars. But it was cute and I did enjoy it and I would recommend it. The next book I read was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I gave this one 4 stars. It was really quick and easy but interesting. I said that this is one of those mysteries that nobody would be able to guess in its entirety. So it's kind of a strange book. Now that I'm thinking back on it, I like almost can't fully remember like who did it. But I remember just like kind of at the end being shocked because I had so many like things for like who I thought had done it, and it kept changing like as the book went on. But I did really enjoy this book, and actually I need to pull up my Storygraph because Storygraph has like the 0.25, has like all the like complete rating, whereas Goodreads, you know, only does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I get pretty specific with my ratings. So yeah, I just gave this one straight up 4 stars. The next book I read was Daisy Jones and the Six, which I don't actually have a copy of. I got it from my library, but I will put a picture up of it. I'm sure that everybody's pretty much heard of this. It just became a television like mini-series, I believe. This week it released on Friday. I haven't got to watch it yet because I don't actually have Amazon Prime. So I'm waiting until my mom and my sister read the book, and then we can like get 1 month worth of Amazon Prime so we can all watch it together. But I'm so excited for that because I did give this book 5 stars. I loved this book. It was my first 5-star of the year. So something, I may have mentioned this on my channel a couple times before, is I read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which everybody went insane over on Book Talk and BookTube like about a year ago. And I didn't really like it. I gave it like 3 stars. Like objectively, I know it's a good book, but it just didn't like get me. I didn't love it. And so I was kind of disappointed, and I was worried that I would just maybe wouldn't like Taylor Jenkins' writing. And so I was just disappointed. But I watched Sarah Caroli on YouTube, and she, I think, also doesn't love Taylor Jenkins' writing. If I remember correctly, I think it was her. And she might have said something about that, like, someone told her, you should try Daisy Jones, it's a lot just like different, you might like it, and she loved it. So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try too, and I tried it and I loved it so much, and so now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll like her other books too. So I just got Malibu Rising, and I'm gonna give that one a shot next. But I loved it so much. I don't really know what it was about this book, it just had such like a fun vibe. I like really could see myself in like, not see myself in the book, but like I could see the book in my mind like a movie. So I'm really excited to watch the TV series and like see how it compares to how I pictured it. And I just feel like maybe the fact that the whole thing was like interview style, was all dialogue, like storytelling, maybe that was what like drew me to it so much, but I loved this book. If you don't know what it's about, Daisy Jones and the Six is basically about a band in the 70s and like their rise to fame and all the problems they encounter and the little like fights they have within the band. I just thought it was super entertaining, and it was such a quick read. The next book I read was Defy Me by Tahereh Mafi. So this was the 5th book in the Shatter Me series, and that's 5th like main book. There's also like the novellas that go in between. So I read this one, and then I also read Reveal Me, and I rated both of these 3 stars. I did write in my review for Defy Me, the ending, in all caps, eek. First half took me a bit to get through, but the second half just flew by me and had me in shock multiple times. I'm gonna be real, I don't remember anything from that book. I have no idea what had me in shock. I don't remember anything. I'm gonna be real. Shatter Me series is just not my jam, like the way it is for everybody else. I wanted to love it because I love YA, I love dystopian, like the Selection series is one of my favorite series of all time, and so I wanted to love this so much, and I just don't. I want to know like what had me in shock and what had me writing in all caps on Goodreads, because I cannot recollect, I cannot recall it. So that's kind of disappointing. I wish I remembered, but I remember like this book taking me, like I just felt like I didn't want to read it for a while, and then the end I like was able to speed through. But I feel like that's kind of how a lot of the Shatter Me books are. I'm on the last one finally now, and I'm very ready to just be done with the series, to be honest. But yeah. So I read those 2 next, and then I read Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, and this book I gave 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. So I will tell you guys, I'm like not the biggest romance girly. I know everybody like goes berserk over romance on BookTube and Book Talk, and when I first got back into reading, I loved romance books so much, but I'm just at the point where I feel like I've read so many of them, they're so like formulaic, it's the same thing, I always know exactly what's gonna happen, so I'm just kind of like bored with it, I guess, at this point. But this book definitely like broke the mold for me. It was a little bit different, and so I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect, and I can't like remember why I didn't give it a higher rating, because I remember like really enjoying it, and maybe like looking back on it I might give it 4.5, because I feel like sometimes you have to like let the book sit with you and be like, do I remember it? I don't know, ratings are kind of stupid anyways, and everybody I feel like rates their books differently. So I gave this one only 4, but I feel like it really could be like 4.5, because I actually think about this book quite a bit. And the love story is so cute. It's so different, I feel like, than a lot of other ones. This one is about a girl who like moves to a new town to get away from like a lot of things that's been going on in her life, and she has like a traumatic past. Something really bad has happened to her, and she moves to this town and meets a guy who can't speak, and it's their love story. It's really sweet, and I really like Archer. I really enjoyed the book, and I like found myself not hating any of the main characters. That's the other thing, is I feel like when it comes to romance, I either hate the girl or I hate the guy, because I don't like grumpy sunshine that much. When the guy just like stays grumpy for no apparent reason, I'm like, oh my gosh, stop, like this is too much of a trope. It doesn't actually like do anything for the storyline. But I really liked them. And like even though he's kind of like a little bit grumpy at the beginning, he's not over the top, and he's not just like rude for no reason. So I like it. It was different, and so I do really recommend this book. The next book I read is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. Like I said, I watch Sarah Caroli on YouTube, and she recommends Alice Feeney so often, and I had been really in a mystery mood the past 2 months, so I was trying to find Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, because I know that's like her most popular book, but I couldn't get that one at the used bookstore, and I usually try to buy books used only, because new just gets a little expensive when you're buying books all the time. So I was able to find this one. I gave this one 3.75 stars. This one was really good, but I don't know. It got a little like slow for me, even though it still was like kind of crazy. I just feel like I wasn't that invested, and like it kind of maybe feels like it goes round and round a little bit, and it might just be the fact that like the main character is in a coma, and she's like hearing what's going on around her, and she doesn't know how she got to be in the coma, and so it's like Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. So yeah, the whole book like revolves around Amber, who's in a coma, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her, like how she got in the coma. I will say the ending like had me literally shocked. I was very confused. I was starting to like piece together things a little bit, that I like kind of had an idea of what was wrong, but I definitely didn't fully get it until it was pretty much revealed. So it did like get me, but I think it just might have been a little bit boring since it was like mostly revolving around her being in the hospital. But I did really like it. I'm definitely going to read more Alice Feeney books after that. The next book I have is The Silent Patient. This one is ironically like sort of similar to the last one. I feel like if you've read them, like, you know what I mean. Maybe I don't want to like say too much because I don't want to ruin it, but not in the like storyline, but just in like certain thing that's like, well, I don't want to say too much, so I'm not going to say it. But anyways, basically the storyline of this is there's a psychotherapist who hears about a girl who like shoots her husband in the face and then never says a word again after, and he kind of becomes not obsessed, but like just very intrigued by this case, and he wants to figure out why did she do it. And so he comes to the place where she is staying, like the mental hospital that she's at, and he starts working with her. And so the whole story is just basically about trying to figure out why she did that, but it also kind of delves into his life as well. And I loved this book. I gave it, let's see, 4.5 stars. So for me, like 4.5 is pretty much the highest rating that you can get, other than like 5 stars is basically what I give to like my favorite books that I would like reread over and over. So I wouldn't necessarily like reread this, but it's like as good as it could be without being one of my favorites of all time, if you get what I'm saying. So I loved this book. I definitely want to read more books by Alex Michaelides. I hope I'm saying his name right. Yeah, I really enjoyed this and I highly, highly recommend it. I know it's like super hyped up, but I do think it's worth the hype. Next book I read was My Favorite Color Is You. This book I received as an ARC, and it's by Shira de, I don't know how to say her last name, so if you're watching this, Shira, please correct me, but it's Shira de Rouge or Roige, I'm not sure. I'll put her name and the book up here. I believe it's releasing on March 5th, so if you want to buy a new book, or if you want to buy a book from a new author, this is her debut novel. So I received it as an ARC, and I did give it 2.25 stars. I liked the idea behind this book, but I thought the execution was like a little bit shaky. There was a lot of like little typos and like kind of grammatical or spelling errors. I think that could be something that could be fixed. For me, like it's not a huge deal, except that there was like so many that I kind of took away from it, and like at times the way that sentences were worded like kind of didn't make sense. So if it wasn't for that, I would say it would probably be like a 3-star. And then just in general, like I've said earlier in the video, romances aren't like my favorite genre. They can be a little like too formulaic and obvious for me. And I feel like this one was like a little too tropey. Like it was kind of grumpy sunshine, but it didn't, and it was also enemies to lovers, but like didn't really seem like they had a reason to hate each other, and the reason seemed so flimsy that I was like, ugh, I don't know. This one is the first of a series of 3, so I'm hoping that maybe the next 2 will be a little bit better in terms of the editing and stuff. Maybe she'll take the feedback on that, because I had looked at the reviews that other people had posted who received ARCs, and they seem to say a lot of the same things, and that like the storyline is cute and all. It just needed maybe to be edited a little more. So that's all on this one. It's basically about a girl who's an artist, and she goes to a school that's like kind of like an art school, but she's in high school, and it's the romance between her and her next door neighbor. They kind of have a enemies to lovers thing, and I really liked the art concept and things, because I haven't really seen that in a lot of romance books, but just in general, like I feel like the storyline could have been fleshed out a little bit better. So yeah, I gave it 2.25 stars though, and I am super happy for Shira, and I just want to say congratulations too on publishing your first book. So the next book and last book that I have read so far this year is Little Fires Everywhere. I wish I had the cuter cover, like this is the Hulu series cover, which is kind of ugly, but it was cheaper, so I got this one. But now that I like read it and I liked the book, I'm like, oh, I wish I had paid the like $2 extra for the cute copy. I'm gonna put a picture of what it like would look like for comparison, and y'all can just tell me how stupid I was for getting this one. But anyways, This is a story about Shaker Heights, which is a city where like everything is perfect. The streets are perfect. They like don't put trash out to be picked up on the street. They like put it on the back of their house. So like, everything looks orderly. Everything is done a certain way. There's rules, there's regulations. And then a girl named Mia and her daughter Pearl moved to the town, and let's just say they shake up Shaker Heights. Bad joke, I know. Anyways, they are just like a little bit different. Mia's an artist and she doesn't like do conventional work. She usually like has a side job and then does her art full time, and so the people that she's renting from are a little suspicious of her, specifically the mom of the family that they rent from. And Mia's daughter Pearl forms a friendship with the daughters and sons of their renter. I hope that made sense. I feel like I explained that really badly. Basically, Miss Richardson and Mia are the two moms, and Mia rents from Miss Richardson. And Miss Richardson is really put together, and Mia's an artist, and they do not get along. But their kids get along, and there's a lot of drama, and it's very interesting, and I gave this book 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I do want to watch the Hulu series now. I really do recommend this book. I think everybody should read it because I feel like no matter what kind of genres you like, you might be interested, because there's like sort of some romance, but there's also mystery, and it's also just kind of general fiction and just drama. So if you like drama, you should read this because I think you would like it. Alright, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was all the books I read in January and February, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!
I could holler at you, baby. I'm just not a natural.